I sprinted out of the house and I went home and I picked up a knife and I went into my room and I sat there and just contemplated of what I should do.
I was just tired of having to get up and live life, the life that I didn't want to live.
I was hurting. I was hurting more than I ever had.
The suicide rate's increasing, but we're not making progress on stigma. So it needs to be okay to be depressed and to get treatment for that so it doesn't escalate to where suicide is their answer.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ashley Blackstone.
And I'm Dean Stevens. For the next hour, we will talk solely about mental illness. You will hear stories and hear from those directly impacted.
Our goal is to bring hope and awareness. And if just one person reaches out and gets the help they need, well, then this would be more than worth it.
Yeah, well, Dean, Emily said she was floored when she found out just how many people suffered in silence just like her. It came to head when she would speak at these groups, and one after another, total strangers would come up to her and say, I get it. I feel that same way. And from that experience, the website, The Invisible Illnesses, was born. She calls it The Invisible Illness.
You could be going to class, you could be hanging out with friends and dealing with all these issues inside, but they're not seen.
Her website, a place to open up without judgment.
I'm Caroline Johnson. I'm 22.
I'm Davion Young. I'm 20.
I'm Ross Keller. I'm 21 years old,
And this is my story.
Names now with a voice, all thanks to Emily Torchiana.
My story is giving them the platform to also feel comfortable sharing.
I was hurting. I was hurting more than I ever had.
You feel the mental block in your head just stopping you.
I was just tired of having to get up and live life, the life that I didn't want to live.
More than 100 people have logged in to share their stories.
It was a good day overall. I've been hanging out with my roommate and one of my other friends all day and all night, and then I had the moment of well, now's as good time as any. Something I've been thinking about for a while.
I was taught by my father that boys don't cry, and also boys can't like other boys.
I picked up a knife and I went into my room and I sat there and just contemplated of what I should do.
But each of them made that split-second choice to live.
It's that moment of regret that you would get immediately. Immediately I was oh no, what have I done?
About 1:30 in the morning, I called my dad and put down the knife. The first words came out of my mouth was, I need help.
Now, out of the darkest place, they try to be light for others.
I know it's not easy, but once you do take that step to get help, you're on the right path and you will see a future.
Their past experiences are a reminder. There's still a lot of life to live.
I feel hopeful. I feel very optimistic. I do have moments throughout the day where I feel a little down, but knowing that I have more support than I ever have, that makes me feel great.
During all of it, I forgot to love myself first before anything else. I've really taken the time in the past year to learn to love myself.
Yeah, it is. This is the first time in a long time I've been excited about the future. It is nerve-wracking, and there are so many unknowns, but I'm actually looking forward to continuing life.
That situation I witnessed triggered something deep inside of me.
For Torchiana, a survivor herself, her own therapy has been creating this website.
I know that my purpose is to hopefully help others know that they have worth, know that they're here for a reason, and know that this world would not be the same if they weren't in it.
And go to our Facebook page, and we'll dive right into it because we did have some questions that they wanted to ask you. One was about the difference between clinical and situational depression.
Mm-hmm. And you actually brought it up. So clinical is more, if you're struggling with, if you're struggling with something, it's clinical is more if you're struggling with depression because it runs in your family, or there's an issue with substance abuse and things like that. All of those issues can kind of create depression and anxiety in your life. Situational is more an event occurs and that
creates,
a trigger. Yes, an event occurs that kind of triggers those types of feelings to happen. I did want to bring up something because somebody had put something in there in terms of suicide. Suicide is not linked to anything genetic. If someone dies of suicide in your family, that doesn't mean you're genetically predisposed. Mm-hmm. But if you have depression that runs in your family, that has some, there is a genetic component to that, and so that could put you at risk. But there's no genetic link in terms of a suicidal ideation.